It was the dead of winter when Anthony Scott, a seasoned truck driver, found himself on a lonely stretch of road cutting through the snow-covered woods of Montana. The storm had picked up and visibility was near zero. His radio crackled static and his breath fogged up the windshield despite the heater blasting at full force. His next stop was still an hour away when he spotted something strange, red taillight flickering ahead, barely visible through the snowfall. As he got closer, he realized it was an abandoned car, half buried in the snow, its driver's side door wide open. There were no tracks leading away. Anthony slowed down, his instinct screaming at him to keep driving, but something about the eerie stillness forced him to stop. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped out, his boots crunching against the thick snow. Peering inside the car, he saw a half-drunk coffee cup, a phone on the dashboard with dozens of missed calls, and a fresh set of keys still in the ignition. His breath hitched. Whoever had been inside had left in a hurry. But where and why? Then, from the trees came a sound, a whisper, "Number A wheeze." Anthony spun around, flashing his light toward the woods. For a second he thought he saw movement, something tall, pale, and wrong. The storm howled louder, and his light flickered as the shape took a step forward, then another. Its eyes, they weren't human. Anthony didn't wait. He bolted back into his truck, slammed the door shut, and gunned the engine. His tires spun against the ice before finding traction, and as he sped off, he dared one last glance in the mirror. The thing was standing in the middle of the road, watching. It smiled, and then it waved. "3 years ago, a woman, let's call her Sarah, moved into a secluded cabin in northern Maine to escape her past. The first few months were peaceful, but then winter came. One night, as she sat by the fire, she heard knocking, 3 slow, deliberate knocks. She hesitated. The nearest neighbor was miles away. Who would be out in this weather? Another knock. Sarah grabbed the rifle she kept by the door and peered through the peephole. Nothing but darkness and swirling snow. She took a shaky breath and turned away. Maybe the wind had knocked a branch against the house, but as she stepped back, her phone buzzed. A new text from an unknown number. "Why won't you let me in?" Her heart slammed against her rib. She spun toward the door, clutching the rifle tighter. Her mind raced. Was someone watching her? Then another text. "Check the window." She didn't want to. Every instinct told her not to, but her body moved on its own. Outside, half buried in snow, stood a figure. Its face was featureless, smooth like polished ice. Its hand was pressed against the glass, fingers impossibly long. The lights flickered, the fire dimmed, and then the knocking started again.